I want you to imagine. Imagine yourself at home or maybe at school taking a test. You can be at an Astros game with some friends. Maybe you're attending a concert at the rodeo. You could be eating dinner with your family. Maybe you're even cheering as loud as you can as the junior girls carry home the winning Powder Puff trophy. Now, despite all of that loud noise, you feel alone. So alone that the isolation seems to silence everything around you. It almost seems as if you're living in a world full of static background noise. You can open your eyes now. Have you ever felt like this? Because that's what abandonment does. It consumes the joy of life and kills the desire to live on and progress, encapsulating yourself inside a jail cell full of your own thoughts. So, join me as we uncover this loneliness and turn the darkness of abandonment into a light for the Lord. To begin, I'd like to share my own personal story. It began in the 3rd grade roughly 9 years ago. Little did he know that his life was about to change forever. Mom and Dad called me upstairs, both teary-eyed, saddened by the conversation they had just had. They explained to me that I would now have 2 homes. I would have 2 birthdays, 2 Christmases. I would practically be living 2 lives. I would visit back and forth, and we would no longer live together under the same roof. Life would never look like this again. Now, being merely 8 years old, I had no idea what this meant for me or for my future. So, fast forward a few years later, and life looks different. I now have 2 homes, 2 father figures, and 2 mother figures. Life seemed perfect on the outside, but on the inside, an internal emotional battle between my heart and my mind was going on. Mike stood as a father figure in my life for 6 years. 3 years into this period, Mike was there for us. He attended tournaments, he supported us emotionally, and he tried to be there, or so we thought. Then his true colors shined through, beginning with, "Oh, sorry, mate, I can't make the tournament," turning into, "I don't have time to throw the football," which resulted in more and more growing further and further away from us. The years 2021 to 2024, he was not there. Not once did he cheer me on at a game, not once was he there to give me a hug when I needed it. Downhill our family situation went. He became an alcoholic, he became distrustful, he became dead to us. One night, at exactly 11:11 p.m., my mom came home, all by herself, and walked into an empty house. Clothes, gone. Truck, gone. Mike, gone. Not one word, not one text, not one note, just vanished, as if he was never there. A few moments later, my mom sent me this picture. And right at that moment, I realized what had happened. It took a second to settle in, but once it did, I knew that we were abandoned. Not only did this bring pain and suffering on the surface, but it cut as deep as a blade through the heart. My mind slowly began to grow thoughts of anxiety, depression, hopelessness, overthinking. The list goes on. Now, this all sounds horrible, as if there's no hope. But here I am now, happy, positive, hopeful, and excited for what life has to bring me. You may be asking yourself, why? The answer is him. What is abandonment? Abandonment is the act of leaving someone or something behind. I could bet that more than half the people in this room have experienced abandonment before. You don't believe me? Let me explain myself. By show of hands, who here has felt either ignored, neglected, or left out of anything by family, friends, or even total strangers? Take a look around. I would say that's more than half. Well, y'all have experienced abandonment before. There are 2 main types, physical and emotional. I'll begin with the emotional. Emotional abandonment, otherwise known as neglect, refers to a person that has felt neglected or pushed aside as a non-priority in a loved one's life. This is what many of you could have experienced. Now, this isn't always on purpose, but it tends to affect many people across the world. About 1 in 7 people around our globe experience emotional abandonment throughout their lives. Some prime examples of this include feeling not included or invisible in a loved one's life, not receiving affection or love from those around you, or the most common, the fear of abandonment. In many cases, people build an anxious hesitance towards those that neglect them. This is called the fear of abandonment. limiting themselves to only what they believe they can accomplish alone. Emotional abandonment can detach you from those that love you and hinder your trust for others. Secondly, physical abandonment. Physical abandonment is the actual absence of a loved one. This is what many of us first think when we hear the word abandonment. We reflect upon the millions of fatherless households, the over 12 million unadopted children, the millions of single parents working multiple jobs, fighting to provide food on the table for their children. The effects of physical abandonment are much more obvious than that of emotional, but both carry the same weight to those that suffer from it. Did you know that 1 in 4 children across our nation are forced to grow up in a fatherless household? The father. One of the most crucial roles in all of human history is the role of the father. The provider, the protector, the role model, the supporter, the one that's there no matter what. And to put that ratio into perspective, out of the 364 students at Second Baptist High School, that means that 91 of them are forced to grow up in a single mother home. 91 of the same students you see every single day in these hallways were never given the opportunity to go outside and play catch with their dad. They were never taught how to shave. They were never taught how to provide and protect for their families. They were thrown into the fire and forced to learn on their own. I say all this to call attention to those that surround you. We've all heard the saying, everyone is going through something, but it's true. We all experience pain. We all go through our own struggles. We all have been in that fire. But here's the catch. Romans 8:18 says, the pain you're experiencing now can't compare to the joy that is coming. God tells us plain and simple that there is going to be pain. But that pain, that struggle, that depression, that anxiety, that heartbreak, that loss, that abandonment does not stand a chance to the joy that God will bring you. We tend to spend time wallowing in ourselves, wondering, why are we all alone? Why is there no one to help us? Why this? Why that? Why? 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 We are not alone. Let me ask you, what are the 2 first words in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father. There's your answer. If you are alone and searching for validation, for acceptance, for a father figure to look up to aspire to be, there's your answer. Our Father. God is our Father. No matter what, He is there. No matter the storm, no matter the fire, He has always been there for you. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. Yet I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You are not alone. And once you realize that all those worries that have trapped you in that darkness of abandonment for all that time are conquered by Him, all you have to do now is let it go. Thank you.